All right, time now for Talk Talkers. On our panel today, we have Sandy Sharkey from Bob FM, Rick Gibbons from CFRA, and of course our own Lianne Laing, a familiar face. Thanks for being here today. I want to start by naming off a few names. We have John Edwards, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Elliot Spitzer, and now David Petraeus. All men who have publicly acknowledged cheating on their wives and, well, an explosion in the media, if you can put it that way. What do we think about this story? It is unraveling more and more, but every second we're finding out new details. And from what a lot of the media is reporting now, it has less to do with if there was any concern over, you know, whether his affair had any leaked information to the woman he was with regards to national security issues. Now we're all talking about, why did this man cheat on his wife? Do you want to start? We'll go with the man.
Sure, I understand.
Let the man go. You're gonna be in a bit of a delicate position here, Rick.
Well, let me say that. First of all, you forgot Bill Clinton in your list.
Oh, that's right. You know, the list probably goes on and on.
Yeah, well, maybe it does. I'll try and give an answer to this. I don't know whether it's fair or not, but in many cases, very successful people are risk takers, and sometimes that sort of, you know, they take a turn off the road and it impacts their personal life. So a very short answer, I would think maybe it's that. You know, people who have been very successful because they're prepared to take risks, also take risks in their private life, and that may be the case here.
They're also then in positions where they may be traveling, so away from their wives, away from their families. They have a lot of people who work underneath them, so they have a lot of people that want to please them, might be saying yes to them quite a bit. Does that come into play? Does that have an effect on why men in these powerful positions?
Well, absolutely. I mean, they're in an environment where it's offered to them at a much different rate than it would be for a normal person working a 9-to-5 job in a cubicle. I mean, it's a comparison also with professional athletes. I mean, they're constantly on the go and they're in different environments. But it's not necessarily to say that it is constantly affecting the job at hand. And so you're looking at these very powerful, we're looking at men in this circumstances, very powerful men who are able still to do the job at hand and not necessarily affecting any other things that are going on in their lives.
Did his brain totally shut down? Did he just go into like stupid mode, Sandy? Like, what happened to this man to ruin a 38-year marriage, a career that he was at the top of? I mean, one of the most well-respected men in the military and leaders, and people looked up to him. And now, I mean, he's at the bottom of the barrel.
Well, as Rick was saying, and I agree completely, that once you get to that level of success in a career and money and fame and all of that, you run out of, you have access to everything. And you can buy anything, and you run out. So you need something, I suppose, that's exciting, that's out of reach, and the danger that goes with the fact that you are a risk taker. Being a risk taker is what put you in that top level position in the first place.
Yeah.
But if you're a risk taker, go bungee jumping, you know, swim with sharks.
Less risk, for sure.
Feed sea rays, you know, don't cheat on your wife.
But in defense of men everywhere, let me point out that every time a man cheats, usually a woman is involved too.
That's right.
It takes two to cheat. And just because in this particular case, and some of the high-profile cases you've referred to, they happen to be very powerful men who have a high public profile.
And in this case, as in with Bill Clinton, when the media suddenly went woof to Monica Lewinsky, we're putting all this attention on Paula Broadwell, who is the woman he cheated with. That was his biographer. And now this other woman who actually started this firestorm, a socialite in Florida, Jill Kelly. The media's got such an attention on the two of them, but are we asking the question, what is wrong with this man?
No, we're asking the question, this is fun gossip. I mean, when you start to kind of see a lot of this unravel, you want to know the details and like, how did this happen? And okay, so how does the sister come into play now? And there's a twin, and you know, and then there's another, you know, member of you know, I'm not sure, the general, or is it
the FBI agent?
The FBI agent who's sending pictures of, you know, without his shirts on. I mean, it becomes fun because it's so out of our ordinary that it's, you know, it's something that you're going to be picking up in the grocery store line.
So it's something we'd be reading more in a trashy magazine than
well, you're reading it on the front page of the New York Times.
That's right.
And the U.S. president held his first press conference yesterday since the election. And what issue do you think preoccupied a good portion of that? I mean, this isn't harmless, potentially. What we've seen on TV every night is FBI agents raiding the woman's home, carting off box after box and computers and printers. there is a very serious concern that there were confidential documents leaked in the course of this.
Do you worry then, Rick, that like the inquiry into what happened at the U.S. consulate in Benghazi gets started this week, and there's concern over Petraeus speaking there? Is there any way that the focus could get away from what happened in Benghazi and suddenly become about his sex life? I mean, let's hope not.
Well, I think congressional leaders will make sure of that. They're not particularly interested in who he bedded 4 months ago. They're interested in what happened in Benghazi, and General Petraeus has some very serious questions to answer with respect to that.
I want to ask one more question. When he's the head of the military, he's the general, he's the head of the CIA, he is someone that you would think, him and his wife and their family and their relationship, other military families would look up to. What does this say to other military families, military wives who struggle when their husbands are gone to war, that even the man at the top can't put things together and hold things in his pants, if you will?
You could apply that concern, though, to all of the famous philanderers. I mean, you look at Tiger Woods. Now, we're not talking politics here, but he has, we would think, a moral compass. Lots of kids look up to him, and yeah, he's a golfer, so it's not quite the same thing. It's not issues of national security or anything like that. But when they are that level, they garner respect. So whether you're a politician or a golfer or an actor, you become a little bit of a butt of a lot of jokes. You know, this speech that Petraeus is going to be giving, you know, the next day there will be all the social networking will find clips to attach to funny pictures, and whatever it is that he says, it could be as innocuous as, well, the people under me, well, everybody's under you, like it could be as innocuous as that. So one of the things that is very obvious today is that no one can get away with anything. So I would think that that would be a reason not to try, but they keep doing it anyway.
I think that's a good point. You can't get away with it, especially in the age of social media and keeping tabs on everything. All right, thanks very much to our panel today, Rick Gibbons, Sandy Sharkey, Lianne Laing, and we'll be back after this. But